Hey guys, the manager of the myth, the legend here, back with another video. Today we'll be covering the 49ers scouting team report for week 2 of the NFL season. I'm Manjot. I'm from the Aussie NFL fantasy show Good Egg Gridiron, and of course Patriot Press NFL. Now today, my 49ers, we did lose in week 1 against the Bears in a terrible game. There was a ton of rain and a ton of injuries for the Niners, so it really affected our fantasy football output. Elijah Mitchell, he went down during the middle of the game, so the 49ers running back room has had to change, with Jeff Wilson Jr. announced as the first running back on the depth chart. Our tight end, George Kittle, he did not play in week 1. He's been a day-to-day with groin injury, but he may have a chance to play. He is a game-time decision against Seattle in week 2. Now, we do play the Seahawks in week 2. We are coming off a loss. The Seahawks coming off a big win against the Broncos, where they forced 2 fumbles on the goal line, and they stopped them right before the end of the game. Now, the Niners fantasy football outlook this week. Trey Lance, he should have a decent game, I reckon. Now, the Niners, they're historically slow starters. They've gone 2-3 with Kyle Shanahan in week 1. But in week 2, they've been 4-1 since hiring Shanahan. So the Niners usually bounce back after a slow week 1. So this could be the week where Trey Lance really establishes himself as the Niners starting quarterback. You could see him sling the ball to guys like Debo and Ayuk. I think this could be a good game for Brandon Ayuk, especially going up against the Seattle secondary with some question marks. Granted that Seattle's secondary did play pretty well in week 1 against the Denver Broncos offense, with Judy and Sutton getting the ball thrown from Russell Wilson. Now, Trey Lance to Debo and Ayuk, that'll be an interesting battle to watch. Both of them just go through their reads. Lance going through his reads, and then Debo and Ayuk just against those Seattle cornerbacks. That'll be an interesting battle. Now, Jeff Wilson Jr., I must address this because Niners running back situation is always confusing for fantasy football players. Now, Jeff Wilson Jr., he could be a good start in your flex, but I don't reckon he's as good of a running back 1 or running back 2 starter. He is my boy. I do love Jeff Wilson Jr. a lot, but fantasy-wise, he might not be the most reliable player. That being said, in the red zone, he can be a very dangerous threat. So he can have the potential to score a touchdown or 2 in the red zone. So definitely watch out for Jeff Wilson Jr. Now, another thing, we've got Debo and Ayuk. As I was saying earlier, they could have a good day. George Kittle, now that's a big X factor for the 49ers. He could be a good start as usual in tight end. You want to start George Kittle if you have him. I have him in a few leagues, but him being a game time decision, you've got to monitor his progress about 20 minutes before kickoff. Try and see if he's playing other ways. Change him out of your lineup. I've got Dawson Knox on my bench. In the league, I have Kittle, so I could be changing him out for Dawson Knox really quickly. Now, the other running backs that I have to cover, Tyrion Davis-Price, he could have maybe a few goal line carries that make him fantasy relevant. And really, we've lost Elijah. That's a big loss, but Jeff Wilson Jr. is expected to take most of that work. So it's going to be on Jeff Wilson's hands here. Yeah, Lance, again, you want to start him. If you have him, I reckon he'd be a good start in fantasy football. And of course, the defense, you want to start them. Robbie Gould, he seems like a decent start as well. Now, I'm very excited for this game. I'm going to give the score prediction just as a bonus for you guys. 49ers by 3 points here. Thanks for watching. Let's go Niners.